All right. Great to be here with all of you, to be in the sun, the sand. It's just amazing. And it's been great to be hanging out here the last couple of days. Some of you might have seen me walking around. I've had some chats with many of you down at the beach, hanging out in the water, out by the pool, doing tequila shooters with Teresa in heaven last night, right? As a speaker, I think there's a few things I need to accomplish, right? The first one is entertain, right? This is a reward. This is a celebration for all of you, and I'm down here to entertain all of you. But then I also want to educate, right? Certainly this is a celebration and a reward for you, but it's also a time to learn, to develop, to grow, and it's all about inspiration, right? I want to inspire you. This whole conference is about inspiring you to be the best that you can be, to make a difference with your colleagues, with your customers, within your community, right? That's what we're all here to do. Teamwork is what separates the good from the great, as you all know. You all earned individually to be here, but it was a team effort that got you there. Now, interesting statistic, this comes out of the Harvard Business School. Only 15% of teams and individuals ever achieve high performance. So you're in a pretty elite club here to be in this high performance zone. And you got to the League of Excellence because you were high performance. Interesting thing, if you want to be high performance, you have to measure a couple of things. The first one is results. You cannot be high performance unless you're achieving your goals, your targets, right? But then to make it sustainable, it's all about culture. How do you take it back to the branches? How do you develop and encourage your colleagues? How do you work with the community, with your customers, right? It's all about building a culture that makes it sustainable so that you can do it over and over and over again. Now, there's no shortcut to the top, right? As you all know, it took a lot of hard work to get here. There's no shortcut to the top of Mount Everest. You can't just take a helicopter to the top. There's no escalator that gets you to the top. You have to earn every step along the way. So we drive for about a week along the Tibetan Plateau, and we finally stop in this little village here called Tingri. First time I've ever actually seen the mountain in, real. And I'm standing there looking out across the Tibetan Plateau, and I see Choyu out here in the distance, and I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, what have I gotten myself into? Right? Maybe I have bitten off more than I can chew here. Like, I was scared. But this is where team comes in. This is where the power of team comes in, because teams allow individuals to step outside their comfort zones, to do things they didn't think that they could do, right? There's a lot of great learning that can come from failure. And I felt I had actually taken more from this trip in failure than I might have in success. And so I started thinking about, why did we fail? And what could I do differently in the future? So as I thought about this, it's all about building high-performance teams, right? You can't achieve these feats on your own, so you need to build these teams. And every night I'd say, okay, guys, let's just spend 10 minutes here and let's talk about conflict resolution. Let's talk about change management. Let's talk about communication style. And they all knew what I did back home, right? Teaching these things in universities and teaching the corporate audiences. And they're looking at me and they're saying, you know what, Scott? Just let it go, man, right? We're not in class here. But as we talked about this, people realized we don't have 6 months or 12 months or 18 months to become high performance. We have 10 days in which to do it. So we need to accelerate this process. Now we leave our camp at 9 o'clock at night and we climb through the darkness because we want to get to the summit at daybreak. Right? It's a beautiful place to be. You're standing on the highest point on the planet. The sun is rising up across the Himalayas. It's great for pictures, but it's not about photography, right? It's all about safety. You want to get to the summit early in the day, so you've got lots of daylight to get back down to the safety of camp. I don't care how strong you are. When you get to the summit of Mount Everest, you're running on fumes at this point. The reason for this is that in every single one of our lives, every now and then, you got a spike, right? Pressure goes up, stress goes up, and you need to be able to handle that. All those people had squandered all that emotional and mental energy in that circle of concern, right? Banging their head against the wall, things they couldn't change. When they get to this point, they don't have that energy left to apply to the task at hand. You want to be on the leading edge of change. You want to be the ones who are making those changes and leading into the future here. And a lot of it is all about being personally accountable, right? For your successes, for your losses, right? You got to be personally accountable. There are people on Mount Everest that year who didn't make it to the summit. And they said, I did not make it to the summit because of the military. I didn't make it because of the government. I didn't make it because of the Olympics. But you know what? I was there too, and I made it to the top. Had nothing to do with all of those things. It was all how you responded to the environment, how you worked together as a team. It was about your personal attitude, right? So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your conference. And I'll see you all out there by the pool.